Okay, let's get things started here. First and foremost, thank you so much for joining us today to listen to us talk about the 2018 product launch. We've launched all of our 2018 products as of March 20th. That includes Label Matrix, Label View, CodeSoft, Sentinel, and Label Archive. And we're going to use today to share some of the key enhancements with you and share some information about how to take advantage of an upgrade to the 2018 product line. Before we get into the agenda, we want to use this opportunity to introduce our speakers today. My name is Nick Recht. I am the product manager here at TEKLYNX. Outside of helping people meet barcode regulations and implement enterprise solutions and oversee our services team and help guide the strategic direction of our products to better serve our clients and partners, I also have 3 small children. They are all girls. They range from 7 months to 5 years old. So you're listening to a man who hasn't had a good night's sleep in about 5.5 years. Outside of that, I like to make my own beer. I have a rather large brewery in my garage. I can make about a full half barrel at a time. And suspiciously, I didn't realize till now how related the beer making and the children are in more ways than one. So I'm excited to talk to you today, and I'm also excited to introduce my partner in crime, Travis Wayne.
So hi, thanks Nick, and thank you to everyone for taking time out of your busy day. I know you have lots of things to do, and really appreciate you joining our webinar to talk about the 2018 products. My name is Travis Wayne, and I'm the product specialist here at TEKLYNX. Coming up on my 1-year anniversary. And over the past year, it's been really an exciting adventure, and I look forward to even a better future. I'm very interested in the product and process improvements, how to best apply technology in real-world scenarios to provide the best value. On a personal note, I do a little dabbling in just understanding blockchain and how it can address real-world issues, and love getting out into nature with my family, where we do some camping and hiking and with my 2 kids.
Awesome. Sometimes I'm jealous of Travis and his children's situation because his youngest is 10 at this point, so he's really out of the weeds when it comes to people having nightmares about their walls turning yellow. So with that being said, let's take care of the housekeeping items prior to the agenda. So you've all been muted upon entry to this webinar. It is not because we don't want to hear from you. That is exactly the opposite. We really work hard to engage with as many clients as we can. You've been muted so that we can effectively communicate to you, but there's a few methods in which you can communicate with us within this webinar. First one being the questions. You can pop open in your GoToMeeting pane at any point and ask a question. I'd recommend asking the question as soon as it pops into your head. Travis and I will be reviewing them throughout the webinar when the other person's speaking, trying to address them as they come up, but we will most certainly address as many as we possibly can in the Q&A session at the end. We've also incorporated a polling question in the webinar. The screen will prompt you to answer it. It should be relatively straightforward. Please provide your answer, and we'll use that data to guide our conversation for the rest of the day and to be able to more diligently follow up with you in the appropriate way. There is also a survey at the end of the webinar. If you close the GoToMeeting screen, or when we end it at the end of the hour here, it will prompt you to fill out that survey. We really, really appreciate you taking the time to fill out the brief survey. Not only does it let us know how we did today, it gives you the opportunity to give us feedback on whether or not you'd like to be followed up with, maybe ideas for topics for future webinars. We invest quite a bit of time in making sure these are thoughtful and professional and are bringing you information you care about, and we often get those ideas from this survey at the end. So without further ado, the agenda. Today, we are going to start by talking about the key enhancements to our 2018 label design products, Label Matrix, Label View, and CodeSoft. We're going to introduce some of the enhancements that span across all 3 of those platforms, and then we are going to hone in on specifically some of the Label Matrix enhancements and then some of the enhancements that made it into both Label View and CodeSoft. We are going to shift gears and then provide a live demonstration of the enhancements in which we discuss about LabelView and CodeSoft. We are then going to share with you how best to take advantage of an upgrade to the new product or potentially a conversion to a different platform if you get enlightened our product strategy and want to kind of upgrade from the label matrix to a more automated solution in LabelView, CodeSoft, or potentially some of our enterprise products. We are going to share with you some of the awesome resources available to all of our partners that are on the line today that you can leverage not only for self-help or maybe a quick call into TEKLYNX to get a question answered. And then we're going to try to save the last 10 to 15 minutes of the presentation today to actually address the questions in which come in throughout the presentation. So before we get into the specific enhancements, we know that a lot of our clients strictly know TEKLYNX as Label Matrix, LabelView, or CodeSoft. We are all three, and there's a reason why. Label Matrix is a rock-solid label designer meant to solve business problems in low-complexity label printing process environments. It is certainly a feature-rich product. It's actually the most feature-rich product for the price that we offer it at available on the market. But when a user uses Label Matrix, really the intended use case is for them to print relatively basic labels directly out of the label designer. Our medium complexity label designer and very popular brand is LabelView. LabelView offers all the same features that Label Matrix does while offering a few key interactions that will allow you to streamline your printing process, like a feature called Click Print that simply shows you previews of all the labels, and when you click on them, they print, to a feature within LabelView called Form Designer that lets you actually design with a very easy-to-use tool a form to print out of, so your users don't necessarily need to interact directly with the label designer at all. And then our highest complexity label design product, CodeSoft. CodeSoft does everything that LabelView and Label Matrix does while allowing you to print RFID labels, integrate with scales, scanners, or other variable input devices, as well as the ability to programmatically integrate directly with CodeSoft. Often a company will make the strategic decision to say, I don't want my users to make any decisions at the time of print. I simply want printing to be a result from an action within a business system, and CodeSoft is the platform that will enable that for you. The products that go on top of our label design products are our enterprise products. So this is where it kind of deviates from complexity in the printing process and moves more towards products that offer specific features and functions. Sentinel is a print automation utility. It allows you to automatically print labels out of a business system or custom front end without necessarily needing to programmatically integrate. It does it by monitoring a folder or a database for a print request, and then we fire off a print job in a fraction of a second. Label Archive is a utility that is definitely popular in heavily regulated spaces. It is a tool that lets you store your labels in one spot, enables role-based access to them, lets you do things like version control, approval rules, and then tracks every interaction that's happened with a label. And then TEKLYNX Central is our enterprise label management solution that does everything that we just described while enabling a browser-based printing interface for you to print out of, so that you don't necessarily need to print out of a custom front end or CodeSoft or your ERP. You could potentially spin up this browser-based front end, scan a work order in, print a label, or potentially even publicize it outside of your four walls to bring your contract manufacturers into your labeling process. So before we get into the specific features, we did want to enlighten a lot of our audience today that we are more than just Label Matrix, LabelView, or CodeSoft. We are all three and then some. So the first enhancement that we want to talk about is one that spans the entire range of our products, and it's really operating system compatibility. So we've been Windows 10 compliant and Windows Server 2016 compliant since both of those operating systems have launched. We have had to be Server 2016 compliant with a patch release. Now it is actually part of the standard software. So we are always going to be compatible with the latest Windows operating systems, one way or another. Now it is just part of the product. You don't need to upgrade to get there. So with that, I'm going to pass the ball over to Travis to talk about the second two features that span all three of our design products.
Yeah, within Label Matrix, Label View, and CodeSoft, we added printer drivers. So often you run into new printers that come onto the market, and we want to make sure that we're providing the greatest experience to you with those printer drivers. So we took the time, actually, early on, TEKLYNX made a strategic decision to develop those embedded printer drivers within our products. With the 2018 products, it's no different. We're continuing with that approach, and we added all the new drivers that we have developed into Label Matrix, Label View, and CodeSoft. Within the embedded printer driver, it's of course quicker to install and get up and running with over, I believe there's over 3,000 printer drivers available now to you. The printer drivers also add what you see is what you get, so it's often called WYSIWYG. I just want to make sure that you know that that's the goal of that printer driver, is to show you on the label what it's going to look like when you print it out of your device. Another item that we added was the carryover settings. On the carryover settings, you may have noticed in the past where you go to upgrade the software, you uninstall, you install the new software, and then you have to go and find a couple files that are related to your specific user properties or some of the settings that you had on the previous version. Well, in 2018 and moving forward, you'll no longer have to do that. We have the carryover settings now in the 2018 product, so you would install 2018, and when we go with a future upgrade, you'll be able to uninstall and then install that future product and not have to move any of those settings.
Awesome information. The final feature that spans all three of our products is our renewed membership to being a GS1 solution partner. So more often than not, people aren't using barcoding and label making software for fun. It's to either apply a label to a product, but even more often than that, I'd say it's to meet a regulation. You often can't do business with a certain manufacturer or supplier or retailer of your product without having a very specific barcode on it, and often that barcode needs to meet the GS1 compliance. We took advantage of this upgrade to the 2018 platform here to re-review every aspect of the GS1 general specification document. And make sure that our product can design all those barcodes in the most efficient manner possible, as well as being able to incorporate all the changes in which have come to the GS1 specification. We were fortunate enough to launch in March, and the newest version of the spec became available in January, so it is very, very current and very up to speed. It's funny, Travis and I have actually spent a considerable amount of time designing very, very unique barcodes and running them through one of our verifiers here. So it's definitely not the most fun part of our job, but something very necessary to make sure that that you guys are getting the best product available. We've also made some key upgrades to the HIBC barcode wizard, as well as some of the other industry standard portions of our product in which people are leveraging. So that's something you can always expect. So now that we've talked about the enhancements that span all three of our label design products, let's dive into our most low complexity label design product, Label Matrix, and talk about some of the key enhancements there. So the first enhancement that we want to discuss around our Label Matrix product is the ability to automatically reanalyze a database without having to click OK. If you're a Label Matrix user and your template is connected to a database, you probably have been annoyed with the fact that every morning when you open Label Matrix, it says, hey, your data has changed and do you want to reanalyze your database? And you have to click OK. It takes a moment, pulls the new data in, and you're good to go. Now you have the ability to just incorporate that into part of the process of opening up your label, making it so you can get down to business a little bit quicker. The next feature we added to Label Matrix was the network settings options that match our label view and our CodeSoft product. So often in a networked environment of Label Matrix, you will have very many people accessing the same computer, but with their own logins. Now you can have it so that it loads those user settings of Label Matrix based on the login, or based on the station in which they're accessing it from, or just keep it generic all the time. What it would really let us do is have like Nick's instance of a Citrix or terminal server environment open with Nick's templates, while Travis's instance opens with Travis's templates. The next two features are ones that are really just to make the interaction with it a little bit easier. So within Label Matrix, now you'll notice that the design will be centered in your screen, as well as having the ability to not only have multiple labels opened, which we added in the previous version, but have the actual name of the template within the tab for that label being open. So it's just a little bit easier for you to navigate with. So at this point, I'm going to pass the ball over to Travis, and we're going to shift gears and introduce the features we've added to Label View and CodeSoft prior to actually live demonstrating quite a bit of the Label View and CodeSoft features.
Yeah, great. Really excited to get to showing off the product and what you can see in the new product. What we did is we just really wanted to take a lot of time to research the market and really understand your current and heavily focus on the future needs of the customers. That's you, including your specific industry requirements. And while of course we want to address the label design, we also want to understand it from, hey, I think I have the need for label software, all the way to I really have a need for multiple users doing designing, doing printing, in my environment, and I need to secure it. So we wanted to cover all of that. And we believe that we are setting that stage for the future, not only in our product, but also in our processes. So with Label View and CodeSoft, some of the new updates are listed on the screen here. We focused on the platform update. So that's really the foundation of our product, and that design and update was done to meet your future needs for potential mobile printing or mobile access into your label software, modernized user interface, just to make it easier to understand as you're looking at the screen, and maybe you have a new person coming on board and you want them to understand your product a little better and a little quicker. To enhanced formula creation tool to help you really dig into some of those more complex formulas, but also be able to create those easily, to variable and smart interactions on the label and with other data structures on that label, to CMY key support, so that's your cyan, magenta, yellow, and black, and new log file options. And we're going to talk about these more, and then Nick is going to show you a demo of them in action. So the modernized user interface is, we really took Label View and CodeSoft 2018 to maybe look a little bit more like the Microsoft products. We found that a lot of people understand Microsoft products and how all of the icons flow and what they look like. And we tried to do a little bit more of that in our products as well to make that easier for new users to understand. We'll take a look at them on the next slide here. So here, as you can see, we have a cleaner bar on the top, and we're going to show you this in the demo as well. And while it is new, we also want to respect those that don't want to change from the smaller icons without the words. And so we have the ability to set a configuration user by user to show the prior version on what that looks like. Within our enhanced formula creation tool, we have, as you build out a formula, you're often wondering what that would look like. And what the dynamic preview does is, as you're adding to that formula, you can add in your ASCII characters, you can add in barcode specific functions, make the changes to the formula, and it automatically updates without you having to click on anything or wait what that formula will produce. And we'll take a look at that as well. So this screen shows you where the barcode specific function categories resides. And so if you need a function 1 special code to add that into your formula, you can. If you need an ASCII character, you no longer have to go and search outside of our product to find what a particular ASCII character is. We now have an ASCII table embedded right into that formula creation tool, where you can select it, insert it into your formula, and then it'll show up in your dynamic preview. Related to some of the advanced barcode elements for our code 128 and QR codes and micro QR codes, you're able to grab those out of the specific barcode formula list, embed them into your formula, and move on with your day. You don't have to go outside of the tool again to look those up. They are now all available, allowing you to make those specific codes. Enhanced variables. I really like this piece of the software, because being fairly new, 1 year with the company, I found I was struggling a little bit understanding what was the data source or what was the object that was tied to a particular element. And this smart interaction really takes all of that question away, and you'll get to see it in the demo, where you'll be able to select a particular data source item, and it'll highlight that variable not only on your label but also in your objects list. We have a shared variable icon. So if I'm wondering, is this a shared variable, I don't have to look anywhere else. I'll be able to see it readily right on my label as I'm working on it, to know that that variable is shared across other labels. And we expanded the character limitation. There was a limitation, it was still in the tens of thousands. However, now you have unlimited characters that you can put into a label. In fact, somebody did a little research, and they believe you could load the Harry Potter series, every single character within those books, into a label, and the software will function correctly. So this is just taking a look at the enhanced variables. We're going to show the highlighting of the data sources panel, and then it'll show where it's highlighted on the label. So as you can see, the crisp bread is used twice on this label, and then it'll also show that it's highlighted in the objects panel. And the shared variable icon, as you can see, is green with the standard shared symbol, and that shows that that counter is used on multiple labels. So CMYK printing, well, for many it may not be important, but for those that really need to match, they have a marketing team, and the marketing team has specified a particular color, and they need to match that, or you need to match that for, say you're creating labels for a vendor that you do business with, and you need to have the text match that specific color. CMYK allows you to do that now. We still have the RGB, but now we have CMYK, the cyan, magenta, yellow, and black. You can set the particular numbers for each of those colors to match that color exactly. For the new log file options, one thing is if you wanted to know how often a label is printed, who is printing it, you may want to see it in something other than text. And so we added in a CSV and tab delimited formats to allow you to parse that data a little bit easier, and so you didn't have to convert the text over. In addition, if you have another system that you'd want to access the CSV, it can be accessed a little bit easier as well. And so you're able to log by label, by user, and by many other elements that we'll see in the live demo.
Cool. So as promised, we're now going to actually touch some of these features. I've actually noticed the questions pane blowing up as we were talking here, and they're really great questions. So I know a lot of the questions are around like upgrading to the new platform and if the labels are going to be compatible. So I'll just squash that right now so that you're not focusing on anticipating. But yeah, all the labels from previous versions are forward compatible into the new version. And as long as you have a subscription license or a software maintenance agreement, you will be able to move to that new version without any investment. It's just something you get as being a TEKLYNX client here. So I'm going to do probably the hardest part about live webinars is navigating between screens and technology. So, okay, here we go. First thing we have on the screen is this is CodeSoft. This is CodeSoft version 2015. So prior to showing you the new interface, I wanted to open up by showing you the old interface. You might very likely be familiar with it, but you notice the icons are a little small and the color scheme is a little bit dull here. Where you can see in the new CodeSoft 2018 interface, the color scheme is renewed and a little more vibrant, and the interaction with it is a little more interactive, as well as the icons being updated and some words being underneath them, and the most commonly used icons displaying very, very large for you. For the standard user, this is going to go a long way to make it so that they don't accidentally hit select printer instead of print, so on and so forth. And for the people who are bent on sticking with the old interface, you do have the option to customize, undo the show labels and undo the large icons, and really have it go back to the old way in which you used it. So that's the modern user interface. This is all on top of and enabled by the modernization of the platform that really lays the foundation for the future. While rebuilding the current platform, we were able to maintain every feature that was there before, give you the modern user interface, and squeeze some enhancements into it, which is pretty darn impressive based on the work we put into it. So the first thing I want to show off is our new formula building tool. So in this example, I'm going to create a lot number. I'm going to put a set of sample data in it, and I'm going to create a part number, and I'm going to put some sample data in it. And I am going to now pop open our formula creation tool and create a formula that combines that lot number and that part number into a usable field on the label. So you can see here, as always, I can simply select the data source and insert my lot number. But now if I wanted to combine lot number and part number with a carriage return in between them, for example, I'd be scratching my head saying, hey, first of all, I don't know how to command within CodeSoft to use a carriage return or the ASCII character for it. Second of all, I don't know what that ASCII character is because I don't have that in my head. Well, now it's really as easy as popping open your interactive ASCII chart, finding the ASCII character you'd like to insert, double-clicking on it, and it throws it in there for you. And now I can combine that with part number right away. And you can see the whole time within the live preview showing me the results of my my formula here. So now we've combined lot number and we've combined part number with a carriage return. If we were using this data within a GS1 barcode, for example, and need to designate the end of it with a function 1 character, we'd be able to insert that function 1 character very easily through this interactive barcode specific formula section. The thought process that we had in, putting these major enhancements into the formula building tool was really making a feature that is often viewed as intimidating or complex easier for the standard user of our product to navigate. So that's the formula building tool in a nutshell here. If we click OK, you'll notice that we have the formula now, and we can simply click and drag it onto our label as a barcode and tell it that we want it to display here as a data matrix barcode for us. From here, we can also add some other fields to our label. So we'll go ahead and add our lot number. And let's add our part number as well. And then let's go ahead and put the part number on here as a barcode. So now that I've actually designed the label, let's take a moment to discuss the concept of the smart interactions, or the interactive variables that we had talked about. So if you have a label that is complex, you've probably dealt with a scenario where you tried to delete a formula and it said you can't use this, you can't delete this formula because it's used on the label. Or potentially you went to say, hey, I want to know where my lot number is on my label. Well, now you can simply select the data source, and it highlights where the object is used on the label, as well as the object in the objects pane. You can do the same thing with a object, and then last but certainly not least, if it's used in multiple spots, it highlights all the locations for you. So this concept of like smart interactions is really just making something that used to be a minor pain in the butt a little bit easier to navigate for you. And the last thing on the smart interaction side of things is the ability to have it designate if a variable is shared across many labels right in the data sources tab, really making the analysis and interaction with your label a little bit easier and more forthcoming for you. So now that part number is shared, as always, you can see how to manage that shared variable here. But you have the designation of it right in your face. For our customers taking advantage of color printing or color labeling, which is certainly a area that's really growing in popularity, you can see we've introduced that full CMYK support. One of the hidden benefits to our CodeSoft product is the ability to print documents as well. So we have a feature called Grid Fields that allows you to dynamically manage pick lists, pack lists, work orders, or really just growing and shrinking multiple page documents, not labels. Often those documents have barcodes, and in the case of pick lists and pack lists, often those documents will require a image that marketing is going to want to approve or have an exact color match to a color scheme, and now we can match the 4-color scheme there without having to convert it to the RGB color scheme. And then the final feature we want to discuss is the enhancements we made to the log file function. Log file is one of my favorite features that isn't used very often, but it's really a feature that allows you to log every result of printing in a file. We've added some features to this to say you can now use the document name as the log file name. You can also have it save that file every single day, so you don't need to, at the end of the day, move it to a new point or whatnot, as well as incorporating some of the new features into the log file function, like incorporating a date or tracking each label if you're printing large batches, or making it a comma delimited text file or whatnot, incorporating the name. So the log file function is really just a feature that allows you to log what has been done. We're going to shift gears away from the live demonstration now and head back over to the PowerPoint and talk about our enterprise products. I like using the log file function as kind of a transition, though, because one of our enterprise products, Label Archive, is really a really advanced logging of all the information that has happened to your label. So TEKLYNX is certainly well known for our label design products. We also offer products that we categorize as enterprise products, one of them being Sentinel, which is our print automation utility, allows you to automate printing out of any business system simply by monitoring a directory or a database for that print request. Label Archive 2018 is our label security and track and trace module. So where the log file function really just logs everything that is printed, Label Archive enables it to say, well, Nick can print where Travis can do design and print. Keep all those labels in one spot, keep a version of every change, make it so a label can't be printed in production until marketing approves it, and give me the ability to report on all the interactions that have ever happened to a label. So if you're a user of the TEKLYNX product and you're just using Label Matrix, Label Viewer, CodeSoft, we wanted to make sure we took the opportunity within this presentation today to enlighten you to the fact that there might be enterprise features like automation or security that you might want to take advantage of. Some of the key enhancements in which we've added to Sentinel are really around the ability to have those automation utilities, or the watches we call them, reference different folders. Meaning if you wanted to automate printing out of your ERP system, as well as automate printing out of a Pitney Bowes scale shipping system, you could manage those templates entirely separately, really allowing Sentinel to serve your decentralized business in a centralized manner. And for our Spanish-speaking partners out there, Sentinel is now available in Espanol for you, so you can interact with it within your native language. So as promised, there is a polling question. So now that we've taken the opportunity to introduce you to the key enhancements to all of our products and talk specifically about the ones added to Label Matrix, Label View, and CodeSoft, and introduce you to what Sentinel and Label Archive do and talk about some of the high-level enhancements to Sentinel, we want to launch our first poll, which is really just asking if you'd like to add efficiency to your label design and label printing process using Sentinel or Label Archive. So I'm going to open up this poll. I'll keep it open for about a minute here, so you'll have a minute to respond with your answer, and let us know if you'd like to automate your printing, if you'd like to implement label approvals in your process, or if you'd like to automate and implement it, or potentially if you're currently satisfied. And the last option is you're a TEKLYNX reseller. As many of you know, you definitely didn't purchase the software directly from TEKLYNX. You purchased it from our value-added resellers, and we extended the invitation up to them as well. So we're going to keep this open for another minute or so here. It's been open for 42 seconds, and about 50% of the audience has answered. So I'd really like to get over 70% of you with your response. So you're going to keep hearing me be the auctioneer until we get there. We're at 58%. If you haven't answered, you know who you are. Take advantage of this time to respond. All right, I'll start the final countdown. 10, 9. You know who you are. Give us your answer. 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Perfect. I'm going to go ahead and close this polling question and share our results. So you guys can see here that a large portion of our audience today is resellers, and the second, so we'll kind of exclude them from discussing the answer with you. We can see here about half of the people using Label Matrix, Label View, or CodeSoft out there are currently satisfied with your printing process, and I really like hearing that. I hope that means that you're satisfied with the product and it's meeting all your needs, and if it's not, please let us know, either in the survey or follow up with us one-on-one after the webinar here, because we employ a whole slew of what I commonly refer to as label nerds here who would like to help make your process more efficient, even if it is within the current way you use it. We can see that 19% answered yes to they'd like to automate and implement label security. There's definitely elements of automation within both Label View and CodeSoft, but there are also products dedicated to that can really help on the enterprise level across a very large organization. So please let us know in the survey, and we'll follow up with you post this webinar to help better understand how we can do that. And then the other two, 12% saying yes, they'd like to automate, 6% they'd like to implement label approvals. We have solutions for it, so hopefully now you know about it and we can strike up a conversation to how to do it. So that is a great transition into the next slide, which is the labeling assessment. So if you've ever asked yourself, either right now or before right now, could I label better? More than likely the answer is yes. One of the things that TEKLYNX extends to our clients is the ability to participate in a labeling assessment. It can certainly sound intimidating, but it's really just our opportunity to have one of our technical sales representatives gets on the phone with you, talks about what you're doing today, helps you document it, really understand if there's any efficiencies in that process, and then use that to share that document with you so you kind of have a handle for how you do labeling, and share some ideas with you of how you could label more efficiently or label better, often within the current product you're using, and sometimes with other products like Sentinel Label Archive or TEKLYNX Central. So I know one thing that is certainly on the front of everybody's mind is the idea of upgrades or conversions, definitely based on the questions that I've seen come in so far. So first things first, if you have a subscription-based license or are a software maintenance agreement holder, you can upgrade to the 2018 product at no additional cost. It's something you simply receive because you are a TEKLYNX partner here. You are not obligated to take advantage of the upgrade, but you certainly can. On that topic always comes, oh boy, I don't want to upgrade because I don't want to worry about my labels. Well, TEKLYNX, and with all the TEKLYNX products, Label Matrix, Label View, and CodeSoft, your labels will upgrade seamlessly. There isn't necessarily a conversion process even. It's just your label that was 2014 or 2015 seamlessly opens within 2018 and you can print it. In the case that it's leveraging, images or a database connection or whatnot, you will need to move that database connection to the 2018 product. But our techs here can help with that. And then when you upgrade from 2018 to whatever the new version is, the foundation we laid with the better platform and the carryover settings will make it even that easier for you. Now, there is one caveat there, and that's if you're using LabelView 8.6 or prior, you will need to convert your labels. The amount of people using LabelView 8.6 or earlier is definitely dwindling, as that product has not been sold since June of 2011. But we do understand that a lot of people and a lot of our clients live by the mindset, if it ain't broken, don't fix it. So we still do run across some of them. Now, even in that scenario, we offer a label conversion tool, which will convert those labels at about a 96% success rate, meaning you might need to move a field or change a font, but you certainly do not need to redesign your label. And then the last thing on the topic of upgrades and conversions is if one of the things that I mentioned when I was talking about LabelView or CodeSoft or the enhancements to it really hit home with you, we offer a tool that will convert your label matrix labels seamlessly to a LabelView or CodeSoft template for you. LabelView and CodeSoft share a similar platform, so you'll be able to upgrade your LabelView labels to CodeSoft templates without even having to do any conversion. So as far as upgrades and conversions go, we have you covered. And if you have any additional questions, let us know in the question window, give us a call, or leverage some of the available resources in which Travis is about to discuss with you.
Yeah, great. So in addition to the label assessment, we understand that we want you here at TEKLYNX, we want you to get the most value out of your product as quickly and as efficiently and as effectively as possible. And so we have some very helpful resources. We have some product training webinars, so you're able to see specific functions and how to use those. Those are available online. We have a support center. You can go to the support center login on our website and type in a question, and hopefully you can find an answer. And then if you can't, we pride ourselves with our having some of the best support or the best support in the industry. We try to answer every single phone call, 100% of our phone calls within 30 seconds, with not only a person that's just talking to you, but with somebody who really understands our products and how they can be used in your environment. I believe we're running right around 98%, but we're always striving to hit 100%. So that is an excellent resource through our TEKLYNX team for you.
Yeah, I remember a couple of years ago when our manager here said he got mad. He made a phone call and got routed through the queue and then had to answer questions. And he said, you know what, at TEKLYNX, we're going to answer every phone call live. We all said he was nuts. 2 years later, we're doing it. So it's pretty amazing. So we have options for however you'd like your help. Self-help, Travis tends to be a big fan of Googling it, figuring it out, and I'm a call them, get them on the phone kind of guy. So you can get your assistance however you like it. So key takeaways before we get into the Q&A session. The 2018 products are here. You can upgrade to them if you have a subscription license or a software maintenance agreement at no cost. With an upgrade, it's always a great opportunity to evaluate how you're doing things within your environment. You can use the resources you have here at TEKLYNX to make that evaluation with you with the labeling assessment. If you don't have a maintenance agreement or a subscription license, you can definitely purchase the upgrade to the new version and also take advantage of that assessment at that time. The enhancements range to a whole new platform while maintaining everything you could do before, as well as the templates, to enhanced log file functions. And last but certainly not least, I think Travis said it very well. Here at TEKLYNX, we pride ourselves in our service and support we provide to you, and we expect you to take advantage of it. We don't do it for fun. We definitely want to help you be more efficient labelers and leverage and exploit the features of our software. So let us do that. So with that being said, I'm going to pop open the questions that have been pouring in throughout the presentation, and I'm going to address as many of them as I can over the next 15 minutes. So I'm going to start with the most recently asked one and kind of work my way back. So first one. Can you show me once again how to make the 2018 products look like the 2015 products? So I'm not going to be able to show you, but you can call into support and they'll be able to show you, but I can talk you through it. If you right-click on the open part of the top of the CodeSoft 2018 interface and select Customize, there's two checkboxes, one for large icons, one for show labels. If you uncheck both of those, the only thing different is the icons and the color scheme, but the rest is the same. Next question, can you provide what the cost it would be to upgrade? We'll follow up with you as we don't sell things directly. We'll have a partner get in touch with you. And it looks like you are using the 8.6 product, so we will certainly extend ourselves to help you migrate from the 8.6 platform to the new LabelView platform, which is different, but easier to use and ultimately more functional. How far back can CodeSoft conversion go with CodeSoft 2018? The question here addresses CodeSoft 10 and 12. I actually opened up CodeSoft version 8 labels, which is a product that hasn't been sold since 2007, seamlessly in CodeSoft 2018. So we can open labels as far back as you can imagine. So that's one thing that we also work very, very hard here to do at TEKLYNX is respect our end user base. We're never going to make an upgrade or a change to the product that requires you to redesign your template. So all those legacy templates and the legacy features will always be available within the product. How do I do nutrition facts labels for food? Could they be filled from a database? That's an awesome question. As I mentioned, we have a team of label nerds here who would be more than happy to assist with that. One of the things I didn't mention is if you download a trial of our product, you can use it. We actually have nutritional facts samples available, but if you have a database, we can really help you connect the label to the database to populate those nutritional facts, as well as doing some of the math on the label. I know I recently created a pretty complex nutritional fact label for somebody that they wanted to calculate, it was for like this high protein food that was really geared towards people whose daily calorie intake was significantly more than 2,000. So per the FDA, they wanted to have the nutritional facts and the percentage be based on the 2,000, but they wanted a complementary section based on a 3,500 calorie section. And instead of duplicating data in the database, we were able to do that math and the conversion on the template in one spot. So nutritional facts labeling is certainly something we have a breadth of experience with here. I own CodeSoft, Label Archive, and Sentinel. Can I upgrade to CodeSoft 2018 but not the others, or do I have to upgrade all? You would have to upgrade all of them, but that is something TEKLYNX helps with. I hope you have a support contract, because one of the key differentiators of TEKLYNX on the enterprise side of things is that with that support contract, not only do you get help where we answer all these phone calls live, but the upgrade to the new version of the product will also come to you at no cost, as well as the time of one of our rock star engineers to perform that upgrade with you. So you do need to upgrade all of them, but you have somebody to hold your hand through that process. Are there any improved capabilities on or changes to Form Designer or Form Viewer? Great question. So that addresses very close to home the reason why we spent so much time optimizing the platform. So currently there are no enhancements to Form Designer and Form Viewer, but I would love to touch base with you one-on-one after this to get your feedback on what could be enhanced about it, and potentially share with you some of the things we did behind the scenes that might give you benefits to the way you use Form Designer and Form Viewer, but that is definitely something we're going to focus on big time in the future, and now we have the platform ready to be able to rapidly provide those enhancements. And let me scroll and find more questions. Does it allow you to use a block of text among multiple labels? Certain text is used across multiple labels, so if I change, yeah, that's a great question. So you can do that a variety of different ways, but it's really the concept of managing data as a variable rather than managing it on a label. So give us a call and we can discuss those strategies with you, but it really ranges from storing that data in a database or leveraging an advanced variable, pulling that content from a file. So when you update data in that file, it'll update it in every single template in which that file is used with. The menu bars are so small in CodeSoft 2015, and working with a high-res screen basically made the menu bar unusable without overriding the scaling of the CodeSoft exe file. Does CodeSoft 2018 version adapt to high-resolution screens? It certainly should. If not, let us know, because I would like to. I'd like to make it be able to do that. All right. Why did the part number not highlight the data matrix as well? The part number didn't highlight the data matrix as well because that was technically from the formula, but that's a funny question because that was one of the things that we had pretty heavy debate among here is, would there be a way for us to be able to find out which variables are used within a formula? And we haven't thrown that into the product yet, but we certainly do intend on doing that. I'm currently converting labels from 8.2 to 2015. Should I wait and convert directly to 2018? I don't necessarily think you should wait. It's definitely something you can do to migrate to 2015 and then move to 2018. If anything, it will be slightly easier in 2018 because we're constantly enhancing that tool. All right, now we have a bunch of questions about backwards compatibility. I think we already addressed it. Your old labels will open within the new CodeSoft. Does Sentinel have any native Epicor functionality? That is an awesome question. One of my favorite things to do is talk about Sentinel, and we definitely do offer native integration with absolutely any system. Epicor is one of our partners. We work with them on the regular. Epicor has the ability to generate a report or drop a file, and we pick up that file and automatically print the labels. So basic answer to that is yes, and I described a little bit about how we do it. All right, and then the rest of the questions that I breezed over, all I had to do was upgrades. I'm going to go back to the bottom to see if anything new came in, and we have a couple here from the last minute. Seeing that Microsoft is going to no longer support DVF files, are you going to come out with a patch for Label Matrix Database Builder so it will save us something other than a DVF? That's a good question. I don't necessarily think we have a plan to do that, but there's a lot of third-party tools out there that can convert a DBF file to like Access or Excel. So maybe we'll make one of those available on our website, but we'll certainly prepare our support team to be able to assist with that. So thank you very much for the heads up. What system gives you an audit trail? That system is Label Archive. If you're interested in it, we can certainly follow up with you and have a discussion about it. The upgrades will work with LabelView 2012. I don't know what the back end of Visual ERP 9.0 is, but assuming it is SQL or Oracle or some sort of standardized database in which you can interact with a standard OLE or ODBC database connection, I'm certain we can integrate with it either to automate printing out of it or simply to drive data from it, depending on your definition of integration. So that wraps things up for today. All with 5 minutes to spare. So we thought it couldn't be done, but it has been. We appreciate you guys listening to us talk for 55 minutes today. We appreciate your business. TEKLYNX wouldn't be what it was today without you guys leveraging our product to print labels, and we want to make sure you're doing that in the most efficient manner possible. So let us know how we can help, how we can be better. A great spot to let us know that would be within the survey in which you'll be prompted to take upon exiting this. So once again, thanks a lot, and I hope you have a great rest of your Thursday and an even better weekend.